Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday night Juniper talk and meditation. Cities of meditation. Whatever you guys. But I hope all of you had a wonderful week. And so let's see what's happened in today's um, June the 10th, 2020. Yeah. Last week, we talked the capacity to grow. And matter of fact, we all also had a this last Wednesday in our meditation group. We talk about that, and then came a little thought uh, about our capacity, moment eating, our capacity to grow. This week we want to talk about the Buddhism training context. And one, I mean, the living tradition that Buddhism is a living tradition, and one example of that growth, we're looking that state of shining on, and we wanna talk a little bit into that, what that growth means in relation, uh, the way we see growth in the present time. Well, always we review the news of the day, the week, and the news today here in North America really has to do with that topic. You have the capacity to grow, and because the news is horrible, the decision is horrible. People dying, people not prepared for the outcome, and the future outcome as the cycle goes, the season comes and goes, and we still didn't resolve the problem and bring more into that. And nevertheless, the rule of the law, without going to politics at all. I'm just looking for the point of view, the world we're living in. Certainly, virus is something we cannot say we created. But in one way or the other, we are the co-creator. We don't know per se, right? Due to the way we operate the environment and so on, and keep going into that. But there are a lot of those structures which I want to put a co-creator but a little differently. It means it's we really deliberately doing by our decisions into that, how we make that. And so, therefore, a group of people which has the power to make decisions, make the decisions, and then all others follow in despair and difficulties and so forth and so on. So put that into context. The news of the day, the news of the day, today, the week. the top from last week, the capacity to grow. And this week, what that Buddhism training in context is about, and what that living tradition is about also, you know. And then we'll examine the values, the life and that cycle, and so forth and so on. From the point of view, the capacity to grow, we say, yeah, the mind. And the mind is not a rigid and hardwired organ. No, it's malleable. So, but it is dynamic. We really, the mind is very dynamic into that. It's very flexible. It's a flexible system. And consequently, there are very, how they call, potential to grow. But then, when you say growth, means which direction we grow. We grow into positions to gain our mind in such a way to experience even more undesirable experiences, suffering, or we could use that mind, that capacity of the mind, to produce more lifting uh, experiences, enjoying experiences. The attitude on our experiences would be more lifting, not as supposedly the news we're receiving today. Then we sit down and say, oh my gosh, no hope, no hope. Because we not change our experience, because the system will oppress, and then we collapse. If you not change the view and the attitude on experiences, to discover new visions per se, and that the capacity to grow is, widely testified, justified, confirmed, you know, by psychologists, neuroscientists, and all that to be able to do so. Even us, even me, as an old man, continue to increase myself into that. So let's do a little pause in here and do our first concentration meditation. And I just put that the topic from last week. We're talking about that capacity to grow for us to enter into the life tradition, and as well the Buddhism in perspective, and as we go about that. So let's start our concentration meditation, and I want to put my timer here for us to do our concentration meditation. So, yes, we spoke, the mind is not this rigid, hardwired organ, has this capacity to grow. I want to challenging us a little bit in here. What we witness right now, it is no question. Why we question if you have the capacity to grow? We grow right now. We're growing in pain, suffering, despair. That's growth coming from within. So when we're talking about growth, we need to qualify what growth is that. So we do have the capacity to enhance our mind, to enhance the quality of our experiences. And that's what you need to understand. Because the mind grows for this direction positive or this direction negative. Can grow for be how do you call it? A potent means to be joyful, compassionate, harmonious civilization, or a struggle, fighting, surviving. We have the entire world surviving right now. The growth of many Buddhist adepts from the past, believing into the growth positively, consequently has been hold this tradition nowadays. And then and then the science before, no, the harder the brain is how they call it, a harder, and then people start to study. No, one moment. Pay attention to that. We grow in many our experiences. And then modern psychologists and neuroscientists say, no. Oh, we can change, we can discover the effect of the thoughts. What kind of thoughts and attitude which influence the experiences. And then understood that mobility of the mind, even in adult lives, so we can bring much more clarity for us. So, so when you pay attention to that aspect, and then we have many, I would say, let's use this term, luminaries people, famous. We have Hollywood is really literally the mecca of the shiny on people. And they have an industry we really put a light on them. You know, they spotlight, how do you call it? Camera, light, and action. And you say, right? You say light, and then lights come up, and then we cry, we laugh, afraid. And those guys are celebrities. We all want to hug, kisses, signature, buy the goods, and all that. That's where we find what the shine on is about, a great career. And all that the spotlight is. And then suddenly came one agent called virus, whatever it is, and then lights off, everything's in. And then even those people collapse. Even though one don't have a padme, how many good guys, I mean, you can say, how come this guy, I mean, Robin Williams, a magnificent comedy guy, commits suicide. John Belushi, a comedian, singer, whatever it is, overdose. And many others young overdose. Why is this? Because they grown their mind into the wrong direction. Not in ascendant way, but downward way. So, and then when that light, the scene finished, and you don't have that, yes, you have a little better car, a little better, house, and this and that is great, but inside, no light, and become dark. Really become dark. Drugs, overdose, alcoholism. So, we should not doubt the quality of we can grow, we can grow. The point is which direction we go. This way or that way. Up or down. And that's coming from our motivation. The clarity to see the importance of that living tradition. Because that tradition is the one who will light us from within out. And always will be strong. So I just finished, to talk to Brazil, and then I saw the news today because I was busy talking to the news. I have to say, really, if I don't have that strong call to be here and really fortify, bring that light up, and to the people, what's going on? What's going on? Because the world going wrong direction. And that's where we need to pay attention to it. So until then, for the next a little more reflection, I like you not to reasoning, but just concentrate it. Bring the focus on the mind. Don't let your mind wandering. Don't make your mind go to those thoughts. Bring the mind to focus in your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Mind is wandering, bring your mind back. In a full concentration, let's start our second concentration meditation. one of the essence of that Buddhism training is to create a lineage, a link with a lineage, which a lineage is about. Lineage, it is a body of knowledge, instructions, tradition. Is a pedigree. Where is this horse coming from? What is this pedigree? Knowing the generation of that horse. In case of that tradition, the lineage per se, it traces back to Buddha Siddhartha Gautama. And then he gives a variety of teachings. And then it's so vast. And then we say, what is the lineage? What the tradition is that? I mean, what is the tradition of that? And consequently, if that tradition is alive today, it is due to the mentors, the teachers, who has transmitted that tradition generation from generation. Likewise, we have the Jewish tradition, the Christian tradition. It's all traditions, all lineage, the Christian lineage, which pass on those precepts, those teachings into that. So the main point of that Buddhism training is to training the mind is a method to propel that inner growth to the right direction, the ascendant direction within. To be able to establish a mind with joy, happiness, tranquility. So I can sit down here and say how they call it, the sermon of the day, the suit of the day. And then next week the same, next week the same. And then there are, I don't think I have a lifetime to do that. Because the 84,000 types of teachings, I don't have 84,000 times days in my life anymore. And nevertheless, and now you can say like a parrot, and then what? What's the reflection into that? So we need to generate that link, to absorb the words, the teachings. And then when absorb that, not fall blindly. No, we open the eyes and say, whoa, what's the meaning? What's the meaning of those words? What the teacher said? The teacher is the vehicle that transmits that. Then what he said, pay attention to the meaning. And the words, the meaning, and then the meaning, I go examine that, discuss that, reasoning upon, and then I will, whoa, makes sense. No makes sense. Not clarify. If no makes sense, no, it is not, it's wrong. But so many has done, and then we try to push ourselves in such a way to gain that kind of clarity. Not a clarity of dogma, but a clarity of the mind to reasoning proper. The proper method to reasoning. And that proper method to reasoning lead us to the proper our inner growth. And that's what you see, the discussion of for centuries, those teachings date back thousands of years. And as well trace back the level of people which has been gained that kind of realization. From India to Tibet, India, the Nalanda monastery, many other monasteries, great masters. And then that was passed by monastic tradition, kept that in the monastic order. The Tibetan monastic order still, but then the advent of the Chinese invasion. The monastic has been re-established in India, back to India, to this time, Tibetan, not much, until a certain point, open for the public. But then the world has grown tremendously in the light of spotlight. We pay attention so much to those spotlights, but not much illuminating the illumination which comes from within, illuminating its insight. That's what Juniper is about. It is the extension of that lineage, to put in a modern life, to think it properly, not to debate into the world of the illumination by spotlights, and give hope, give dignity, give, how they call, motivation for someone, generate enthusiasm into the path, breathing life into that tradition, the rich tradition. And then I believe, when I talk about the growth, I believe the humanity will grow in such a way. But otherwise, it's as if it's endless, because the number of people has grown tremendously. In my own lifetime right now, I believe when I born, 1950, when I make that research, I don't believe the world has surpassed, I want to be very generous, at 2.5 billion habitants. So in 70 years, we are 7 point habitants. The world, very few has the spotlight on them, and the rest have the weight of the darkness on their shoulders. I'm following the shoulder of those giants, those masters, which put up in so many circumstances and to bring those teachings over here. And that's where hopefully make myself keep going. Because I believe into the growth. I believe into those trainings is important. And I believe the inner light could be enhanced. And the power of that life tradition. So, and that's what the three principal means of that. That link will receive the words. Then we study, we reasoning, we meditate, we practices. What we practices? We practices little by little the insights of our analytical meditation. Become part of our life. We suffer. There are so many news. We could be sad. I feel sad. Many things I see people, I taking care of people dying, people living. I feel sad, but not suffering. I do have, it's not, we think we are cynical, no. Because I understand the cycle of life. Someone departing brings sadness, but then we need to regain our attention into that path, pay attention to our actions, reactions, and continue to grow. So that practices bring awareness, and that awareness is the pay attention of it. And that's why this link is very important. To the lineage is a masters, mentors. And then there are the schools. The schools will produce more masters, will produce teachers, guides, instruction, and the community as a whole. And that's where the capacity to grow into that, how do you call it? Into that unbelievable tradition, which is that Buddhism training, and I would say for modern life. And that's what we try to do as a Juniper. We can do something about suffering. We don't have to get stuck. We need to fight the addiction to our attainment alone, the external camera, luz, ação, camera, light, and action into that spotlight of the world. But the way we bring the thoughts, that thoughts is through familiarity, reasoning, meditation, then become the practice, and the practice become the awareness, and the awareness is the guidance, how we go to life. That's the way to do it. Then we do have the capacity to grow. No question. You can see, you can go up, you can go down. The question is, which direction you want to go? You want to be in loop? Then some people is stuck in here. Others, very few people is fortunate to be that way, because the majority go downhill. Ascendant is much less people, very fortunate ones which have the clarity. I'm going to link with the lineage, with that alive tradition, unbelievable tradition, and then we gain that kind of realization. Then, yeah. Why we don't believe on that kind of teachings? Because we have so bombarded on the news. Mask is not okay. Party is okay. I have my right not to be in seclusion. My friends, I pardon. If you tell the truth, I'll put in jail. So, we don't like dogma, but we follow dogma. We follow. Then the question again, who decided which view are corrected? It's you. But only when we're able to proper way to understanding that, by means of getting familiar with the topic, reasoning with the topic, meditate on the topic, and practices, to put in practices your insights, what you learn, the clarity of your thoughts. That comes awakening. And then be able to go into a source of unbelievable richness of joy, contentment, which is that inner potential we have. So only rest one antidote medication for that is the meditation, the analytical meditation. Then you can see how important is the capacity to have the mind strong, to go topic by topic, really reflecting, discussing, analyzing, refuting, and empowering. Refuting those mental afflictions which block my capacity to be peaceful. And that's where we gain the realization of our path. So let's do a very good analytical meditation. I want to put here like a 4 minutes for us yeah, 4 minutes for us to meditate it into each one of those top four. I mean, for us to have all those four phases at that level of meditation. Let's concentrate on that. On that. By the way, that's the familiarity. Review my words, bring to mind what you know about it. Now is the moment for reasoning. Examine your experiences, everything said that is logic. You can, reasoning is not to prove by emotions, but what's the real, what the science say about the knowledge, I'm talking about. The correct science, the testimonials, the experience, your experience, other experiences. Does the emphasis on inquiry make sense? What is that humanity's spiritual tradition, which sometimes evolving from dogmas, change the world, others get fixed on dogmas and override everything else. Can a tradition or lineage stay vital and alive as the world changes? Now, the application. To what degree do I unquestionably accept the world, the word, or the dogma of others? Can I be open for new ideas? Can I how do I go? Ch- changingly, cha- changingly, changingly, the old dogmas? Can I, how do I go? Questioning? Can I changing the old dogma? Now, if I have an insight or learning from those three processes of familiarity, reasoning, and application, that would be my object of concentration. Otherwise, go back to your traditional concentration meditation. It is okay not having a don't push for that clarity. Just happen and the insight should go naturally, easily. The main point is to do those three phases, the familiarity, reasoning, and application. And then cultivate the strength of the mind. Take one deep breath. Let's see the last words for our day. We have been gathering weekly in here. Next session, this coming Friday, I'll have a little different. And I want to be more interactive with you guys. In other words, you make the question, I'll answer and build up into that, and pull that into that context. But it is important, the reason and the Juniper is the way it is unbelievable potent from my own side. No doubt, because I can see the little sparkling coming. Many people slowly lights inside, cases upon cases of difficulties, even can have a light into that. That's what makes myself alive and strong into that. I do believe into that alive tradition. The masters who do in the past, the masters on the present, and in the future. I have been recognized as a one master from the past. Bring it. The eloquence of teachings and discipline. somewhat a little bit like that. I don't like much the spotlight on me in the tradition. I could say, no, I want the tradition to flourish. I continue, evidently looking for people have the same thing, waking the same thing. Because a lot of times we have something inside, but when we get it outside, we try to put the outside spotlight. Now, need to be you from that light within and growth. And that's why I'm saying that. Because I want to see that waking the mind path be relevant. Not to be just a Friday night and this and that and this thing. Now, when open, then what? I'm sorry, I'm going to the restaurant. You have my reservation. And you have my reservation, you have my things, and then all completely, oh, no, go for the theater, go for the movies, and go that, meditation. Tomorrow, maybe. I'm not saying you should avoid the world. The Friday become Friday, we can bring back, but we need to make sure we can find another day to do that properly and continue to enhance ourselves into that level. For what? For the world. To make that human species not disappear, but continue to be how do you call it, to manifest into its own glory and capacity, and so forth and so on. So, yes, be patient, create a habit. Don't be too tight with your pain. Try to relax, make simple. And it's a word I say over and over and again. Oh, because like go to school, children will brush the teeth, until you have the capacity to engage in much more depth in meditation, the nature of the mind, our mental factors. And that's, we're going to talk more last time, the four building blocks. Balance the emotions, develop compassion, wisdom. And whatever job you have, family, relationship, always will be in good things. Not all yang, 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 yang. I'm the one, yang, 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 because is the reverberation, how they call it, to vibrating back what I can see it. And they bring back. So, that continue our practices. It is a path. We are here at Juniper to benefit so many people. More than many. You and the others before you. That's what went on. If you generated that link, then we'll have a better world. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy. Be careful. The situation right there in the world. Be well. Invite your friends, together. Not in together, but together by the conversation to create a new world. I wish you a long life and do your homework, meditation, and I see you next Friday. Health and strong, and see if our community continue to grow. All the best, all the best, all the best, all the best.